Hey guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again, codingphase.com. Your boy's backing out and did it again one more time. Now this time around, we're going to be talking about PHP projects that you guys can build or you can build with me. Okay, it's up to you, right? But let's get into it. We're going to be talking about some of the projects that we have in the practical PHP course, which is a backend course where we're going to be building real projects that you will be doing at a company. So pretty much all of the skills that you're going to be learning from these projects are things that you actually do as a backend developer on your daily basis. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm gonna go and start from here, right? So this is the practical PHP course. By the way, if you want to get it, it's 50% off. You could pretty much get all of the projects that we're adding to this course, and pretty much you can do it with me. Now, of course, you can watch this video and take some ideas from the projects that we are building from here. Okay, so the first project that we have here is building an email list. Now, most of you guys have seen this type of landing pages from like software as a service companies where they're basically just trying to get your email, right? But what happens when you submit this form? Okay, is really to just build an email list so the company can go in and market to you about upgrading to maybe a premium version, you know, paying for some extra features, or just to give you a rundown on like what are the features that this application might have. So the goal for this is just to get the person's email and save it into a database so later on it could be used. So we're going to be building this from the ground up into one file because it's pretty much very simple to do. You can just have in a landing page, and then from there just basically build all of the logic within that one file. Now, of course, we're doing this with PHP, which pretty much this is like the easiest way to use PHP, just to basically have all of your code on one file. And from there, I'll show you guys right now how sort of that looks, right? So basically you have your logic at the top, and then from there you have your HTML, CSS, and whatever other things you got to do on the view on the bottom. Now, why are we doing this like this? This is not the recommended way of doing things, but this is a way for you guys to understand why is it that we use frameworks. You need to learn what are the bad ways of doing things to understand why the good ways make sense, right? So that's like the easiest way that I can explain this to you guys. Okay, so we're gonna go in and build this one time, you know, into one file, right? And then from there, we're gonna go in and actually build an MVC framework from the ground up, so you can understand why there's frameworks like Laravel, why there's frameworks like Django, C#.NET, right? Things like, you know, Ruby on Rails, why those frameworks make sense when you are working on a bigger team, and also too just for, you know, to future proof your application, right? So again, we're gonna build it first, the easiest and simplest way to do it, and then from there we're going to go in and actually make it production ready in a sense where we can have other teammates and other people work on this application. Okay, now the next project that we're going to be doing after that, we have those first two projects, building the first one and then refactoring the code to an MVC framework. From there, we're going to go in and build a URL shortener service. Okay, this is what I will call like a microservice, because technically you can do this without having to have any user authentication or anything like that, and it could be something as simple as this. So this is bit.ly.com. This is a service that you guys can do, and basically what this does is you can pass down some UTM tags, or basically a URL, right, with some UTM tags, and you can go in and basically get that link that might be super long. For example, if I click here, right, it gives me this super long URL, right, that you might not want to go in and be sharing this on social media or through an email. You might want to just have a shorter version of this. So you could come here, paste a long URL with all of the UTM tags, and then from there you have this application which returns to you back a shorter URL that the person can now go in and share that. So we're going to be building this from the ground up using the same framework that we built initially for the email sign up page, just like this one. And that's to show you guys how the same framework and the same ideas can be used for any type of application that you could think of. Okay, so again, this is going to be like a microservice that we're going to be building from the ground up on this course. Another thing that you can also do as a developer, right, is create a productivity app. Now, most of you guys have seen this before. Notion, right? This is a super popular application that's out there that people use, and YouTubers, the productivity gurus, they always recommend, but it really is just a to-do app. Okay, this is a glorified to-do app, right? Everything that you see here on Notion is pretty much create, read, update, delete. It's very simple to do. Any one of you guys can do this, but what's really cool about this is that you're gonna learn how to do a CRUD. Again, like I said, create, read, update, delete, right? So we create data, right? We read data, we also update the data, and then we delete the data. That's pretty much everything that you're going to be doing as a web developer. That's, again, these are like real projects that you can pretty much say, hey, this is the same things that you're going to be doing every single day as a backend developer. Okay, so we're going to be using MySQL for this, and we're going to show you guys how to use PDO to connect to those MySQL databases. And again, we're probably going to be using either the same framework that we built, or we're probably going to jump into using another framework like Slim. So Slim is a micro PHP framework, okay? It's very similar to Express and like Node.js and JavaScript. So we're gonna be probably using either the same framework that we created, or maybe we just upgrade and start using another framework from somebody else, and show you guys that what's the process of building an application using somebody else's package. Okay, so again, that's what we're gonna be doing when it comes to this one, this productivity app. Basically like a glorified to-do app, right? Again, to teach you guys about CRUD and using different packages to make things happen. Okay, now the next one that we have right here is Linktree Clone. Now, if you guys have never heard of Linktree, Linktree is pretty much a service that provides people with a single page where you can have all of your links from social media and any type of products that you guys might want to have. So for example, let's say I'm Pharrell Williams, right? I wanted to go in and share the things that I've released as far as my Billionaires Boys Club, right? Some of you guys have seen me. I have a lot of BBC clothing line and clothes in my closet. But yeah, BBC is pretty legit. And Pharrell is actually the owner of this company. Now, if he wanted to go in and basically promote any products, for let's say on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, etc., he has this Linktree website where he just goes in and adds the link right here, and it pops up on this page, right? So everything that has to do with him, he just has it on one page, so people can just go in and go to all of those different links directly from his profile. Okay, now again, he can also go in and add all of his social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, right? So we're gonna be doing the same thing. We're gonna go in and create a Linktree service so people can go in and add all of their links and their social media to their profiles. All right, so that's a pretty straightforward project. But again, it's going to teach you guys more about user authentication. It's going to teach you more about database design, right? Also, too, we're going to be working with a framework for this. This is where we're probably going to step it up and probably do this with Laravel. So again, we're going in and starting from the ground up, right? Teaching you the basics of PHP, right? With this email list coming in, refactoring this into an MVC framework, and basically showing you guys how this will work. From there, we're going in using the URL shortener, show you how you guys can create a microservice where is pretty much an application, super simple to do, and put it up online. And again, there's a lot of ways to make money with microservices, and we'll talk about that in the course. Also, too, we have the productivity app, right? And then from there, we have this Linktree clone. This is where we're going to be going in and taking it up a notch, right? Showing you guys how you will go in and create, you know, an application, production ready, right? And something like Laravel, and also too using all of the packages that come with Laravel. So again, it's progression. We're going in from the easiest thing, show you guys, you know, super easy way to create an MVC framework, and then just continue going up the ladder to go and teach you guys more advanced things as we go within the course. Okay, now again, for anybody watching this right now, you can use this projects and try to build it yourself, right? Or try to challenge yourself if you are a backend developer, etc. Or you can come in and learn it with me, and I'm gonna teach you guys the proper way of doing this, and I'm gonna make sure that you guys are taken care of. Trust me, this is what I do. This is my specialty. I'll take things that's difficult, right, or might seem difficult, and I break it down very easily for you guys. Okay, now once we do this Linktree clone, right, we're gonna go in and we're gonna jump into a CLI app. Right now, for those of you guys that don't know what a CLI app is, basically an application done through your terminal, right, or for your terminal. So for example, like Laravel has a CLI where you go in and you say PHP artisan, right, and then from there you have all of these different commands that you guys can actually use to basically you know, build your application. Like for example, if you wanted to do migration down, you wanted to do like PHP artisan migrate, which is going to run all of your migrations into your database, or for example, you could use something like Tinker, right? You could set up some seeds. Maybe you want to drop your seeds, like take them out. Basically, like we're gonna create our own terminal application, and it's going to be pretty simple, right? Pretty straightforward. So like that, you can understand how is it that these applications actually are creating, and also to show you guys how you can go in and start thinking about ideas for CLI applications that you guys can build for yourself. Trust me, building applications for the CLI is super simple, but very useful, especially for us developers, basically as far as like automating things and making sure that we can go in and have these applications make our lives easier. Okay, so much easier than you dragging and, you know, your mouse and moving things around. You could just go to your terminal, boom, 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 run a command, and it does everything for you. So again, we're gonna be doing that in this course, showing you guys the whole process of pretty much everything that you do as a backend developer. Again, from there, we're gonna go in and we're gonna go and build an application where we consume an API. Now, this is basically connecting to an API and being able to receive data from a service and then doing something with it. So what we're going to be doing with this is going to be like a Genius application where we're going to search for songs, and basically is going to return us back some data just like this. So this is the Genius API. So if you guys have never gone to here, genius.com is a website where you can pretty much search for songs or lyrics. So for example, let me see who we have in here. Let's say Popstar. I don't know who this person is, but basically you could search for the lyrics, right? And you could get the information of the artist, see like the artist, single, album covers, etc. You can see all the credits, like who produced it, who's the distribution, right? So we're gonna build an application using this API to search for information about a song and information about an artist. And again, we don't have access to this data on our own local database. We're going to be consuming it from this genius.com website, and they're going to be sending us the data that we can use for our application. This is how you use APIs, right? And we're going to show you guys how to do authentication for connecting to an API and the whole process of it. Now, once we learn how to consume data from an API, we're going to go in and we're going to also jump into creating our own API for others to consume, right? So again, when you have an API, you're basically having certain routes where if someone does a get request or a post request, you're basically sending back or responding back to them with some type of data. So for us, we're gonna go in and create a Mercedes-Benz REST API, which is going to be pretty much like this, right? So we're basically going to have all of the vehicles that Mercedes-Benz has, right? So then we're going to choose like 3 from each category, like 3 from the SUVs, 3 from the sedans, another one's from the coupons. Why did I say coupon? Another one from the coupes, and another one from, let's say, the convertible or roadsters, right? So we're basically going to be doing that on this application, and it's really just to return back to the user that data about that specific car. So for example, like somebody searches the C-Class Cabriolet, what do they get with that, right? And then we're gonna have some images, like the URL for the images for this car, you know, what exactly is it that comes with this car, how many wheels it has, how many windows it has, is it convertible, is it not convertible, you know, what colors are available. So we're gonna go in and pretty much do the same thing that Genius has here, right, as far as consuming data from their platform to be able to, you know, get information about a song. But this time around, we're going to be creating this from the ground up, where we're actually returning back information about Mercedes-Benz, right? So all of these projects are going to be like in a scenario, right? And we're going to basically assume that we're working for this type of companies, right? So for example, Mercedes-Benz of USA, right? MBUSA.com. And how can we create an API for maybe, you know, car dealerships to get information from us on a car? So for example, there's a lot of different car dealerships that they sell used cars, but how can they get the information about the car without having to go in and actually put it in manually? They could just connect to our API, pull the data on the car, and then now they have all the information of that car for use on their websites. So again, these are things that you can do as a backend developer, right? And this is pretty much like the life of a backend developer. Now, you might be asking yourself, why are we using PHP, right? It's very simple. The reason why we're using PHP is because PHP is very simple, very easy to use, and at the same time, it's a language that has a lot of opportunities for new developers. Guys, I'm not here to get views. I'm not here to get, you know, anything that trending or to be popular on YouTube. I'm here to get you results. You that is watching me right now and is looking to get into the game as a developer, I need to make sure that I get you guys results. And the best thing for me to do is to teach you things where no one is looking for those type of positions. No one is studying those type of positions or languages, right? And there's going to be less competition for you guys because of those two things, okay? So for example, if you look into Indeed.com and we go into this, right, we can check that if we search PHP, right, there's a whole bunch of different jobs that you guys can get as a junior developer, especially with PHP, right? There's a lot of companies that will hire you and give you that first chance to become a PHP developer without having to use, you know, advanced and complex, like, you know, applications or skills that you might have to pick up. You also don't have to have like algorithm questions. There's a lot of companies that just care about the projects and things that you have done instead of worrying about, hey, can you answer this riddle for us? Like, that's ridiculous, right? So at the end of the day, that makes your life much easier to get into the game. Now, once you become a backend developer with PHP, you could be doing this again as a PHP Laravel developer. You could be doing this with CodeIgniter. You could do this with WordPress. You could do this with Magento, WooCommerce. There's a million different things. Drupal, like so many different things that you guys can get into as a PHP developer. And there's a whole bunch of different ranges of salaries to become a developer using PHP. So again, there's definitely room for growth. And also too, the most important thing, which is what people kind of forget, is how can you get into the industry? And this is a great way to get in, very simple and very easy to do as far as that, right? It's just knowing the skill, having the skill, and basically being able to demonstrate what type of projects you have. And again, these projects that we're going to be building here in this practical course are going to be pretty much getting you ready to be a practical PHP developer. Like straight up, like once you learn this, from there, anything that you want to learn as far as Laravel, WordPress, like you're going to be prepared, right? Because from there, all you have to do is look at the documentation and you understand how all of these things work for whatever framework or library they might want you to use. Okay, the goal is to get you to a point where you are job ready, right? As quickly as possible, and showing you all of the different things that you can do with the language. Now, again, you can do this with whatever language you might want to do it. I recommend using PHP just so you guys can get results quickly. But if you're planning on trying to build these projects on your own, go ahead, try to knock yourself out and do it. Now, of course, if you need the help and you need somebody to hold your hand and show you guys the process of doing this type of applications from the ground up, come in, take the course. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Right now, you got that 50% off. Basically, you know, once the whole course is complete in about a month or two, basically you're going to be having to pay, 100% of it, right? Which is going to be 150. Right now, you could get it for 75, or you can also come in and become a diamond member to codingphase.com. and you automatically get it for free, right? So pretty much as a diamond member gives you access to every single course that is on codingphase.com. And again, this is also part of the diamond membership. So again, take advantage of that. I'm gonna stop right here, guys. All right. And I'm going to see you guys later. Peace.